Hey everyone, welcome to Craving Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Now in this video, I'm going to discuss and share some new images that have been released by Scream 6 costume designer Avery Plews. She has posted rarely before seen images of the aged ghostface mask in its prototype form. Not only that, I will also be showing a prototype for the Roman mask and the Nancy Loomis, aka Debbie Salt masks seen in Scream 6. And finally, she also provided images of what inspired the aged mask when she incorporated into the overall look of the final version. Let's go!
Hey everyone, this is Christopher Landon, the director of Scream 7, and you're watching Craving Something Scary.
So Avery Plews posted these great images on her Instagram page, and after seeing them, I had to stop and make this video to ensure all of you see them as well. So first up, we see this image of 3 aged Ghostface prototype masks, and you can see that they're all 3 of them are in various forms of decay, and you know, if you start over to the far right, you can see the one that's obviously in the best shape of the 3. And then as you move to the second one in the middle, moving left, and then finally to the far left, you see how it's progressed from being just a few cracks, still very white. And I noticed that too, like it's not just the aged look of the cracks on the mask, but the coloration, the discoloration, if you will, of the white progressively changes, and it really stands out when you see them lined up like this. And we can, you know, again, that one on the right is very close to its original shape, other than being cracked in several places, and definitely still not the bright white like what we saw in the Scream 6 in the subway, or even the opening kill with Jason killing Samara, or Laura, I should say. The nice, very crisp, bright white mask that we saw, that this is not that shade. This is even more weathered than that. But compared to the 2 on the left, it is like a bright white, because the discoloration increases significantly as we get closer to the left side of the image. But anyway, it's really cool to see the progression of these prototypes, playing around with them. The one in the middle, again, more discoloration, less of that crisp whiteness that we see on the right side, and the nice crack there above the left eye, which is pretty cool, and below it too. But then we get to the far left, and we see something much closer to what we get in the actual film there, with that aged look there in the mask. It looks fantastic. And I mean, they all 3 honestly look pretty darn good in my opinion. But definitely that one on the far left is really in rough shape. And you know, it works. It's what, you know, in your mind you could imagine seeing being 25-year-old mask, especially if it wasn't cared for. You know, I mean, my goodness, look at the Halloween mask from '78, and then they had that same mask in Halloween 2 a year later, but that mask that they used was not taken care of. It was thrown under Deborah Hill's bed, and she was a smoker, and so it had an effect on the mask, and they threw it up. It was the same exact mask from Halloween 1 that was used in 2, but it was weathered. I mean, that was just a year. So it's not inconceivable that after 25 years, that mask would look pretty rough. So totally makes sense. I always bought into it from the beginning and thought it was great. But anyway, these are the 3 images that she shared as the prototypes. Now, she also shared this image of the Nancy and Roman prototype masks. And you can see which, Nancy on the left, Roman's on the right. And I really do like how these look. And if you look closer at them and you can, blow them up on your screen, you can really appreciate the detail that's on these masks. And that Roman mask on the right, it is nice and weathered. It's nice and worn. Even though it's not all cracked up like Nancy's is on the left and the others we saw, it still is really worn. You can see the age, the way they aged the mask, and the coloration is very cool. And then when you look at the left here and you see the Nancy mask, the Debbie Salt mask, it also has, this one, has the cracking as well as the earlier masks. But not only that, this one has this discoloration, this yellow tint around the eyes. And I think that is really cool because, when you have these material, and sometimes you see how when it gets old, the coloration turns yellowish. That's kind of like I don't know if it's just the chemicals in the material. I don't know. I'm not an expert in any of this, but I can tell you that I've seen it before, and over time, that whiteness changes and you start to see that yellow tint to it. And I love that they did this here with the yellow around the eyes, starting to show that age. It's interesting. Again, it's just a cool idea to experiment with. And I love that Avery still has these masks and they weren't locked up by the studio and put in a vault somewhere. And she got to share them with us. This was really, really cool. So those are the prototypes there for Nancy and Roman. Again, I encourage you to check them out where you can blow them up larger and really see the detail that went into making the prototypes and ultimately the actual masks that are in the movie. And finally, we have these images that were used as inspiration to make the aged Ghostface mask for Scream 6. And anytime we've got creepy dolls, it creeps me out. All right, and this is no exception. We've got these creepy looking dolls that are all messed up, cracked, aged, and these were the images that Avery used that inspired the ultimate look that we have in the weathered, aged Ghostface mask. And it makes sense. I mean, definitely you can see the elements that are here were absolutely implemented into the Ghostface mask. And, and these images here we see are not just dolls, they're up close images of cracks and things. And it all played a factor. So this really gave us a look behind the curtain. And that's what I love about this, because, when you see the mask, you take it for what it is, but you don't realize necessarily, or you don't necessarily think about all of the work behind that mask. Like, to arrive at that point, you had to go through A and B, C, all these things. And so we had a chance to do that today with these masks and these images. So I love that Avery shared these. I think it's really awesome. You need to go check them out on her Instagram page, and be sure you leave a comment there and let her know how much you appreciate the work she put into this to give us an amazing looking aged mask in Scream 6. Love the way it looks. All right, everyone. I want to know, what do you now think about these prototype masks and the inspiration that Avery had for the aged Ghostface mask in 6? So start leaving your thoughts, your ideas about it in the comment section below so we can begin discussing it together right now. Well, that's going to be it for this update, but I'll be back soon with more Scream and other horror movie content. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, this is Craven Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Thanks for watching.